All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Power Hitters Club Elite weekly webinar. This is episode number 220, Facebook location targeting, and we'll cover a whole lot more as well. So, how's this going to work? It'll be about 30 minutes, give or take. We'll start with a rundown of the latest developments to impact you as a Facebook advertiser. We do have time for Q&A at the end, so make sure you send in questions as you've got them. There is a little delay from the time that you put in your comments and I see them. So as soon as you got those questions, send them in. We are recording. If you're in PHC Elite, make sure you check out powerhittersclub.com. You can watch all of the 220 replays if you really wanted to. And so for PHC Elite, that includes the embedded video, downloadable audio if you want, relevant links that are related to everything that was discussed today, and the outline. So to give you a little background on where this all comes from, it's a combination of the stuff I read during the week, as well as what comes up in PHC Elite in particular. And so if you want additional info on what was discussed, we'll provide those links as well. So what are we going to cover today? First of all, Facebook location targeting. That was Luke's latest blog post. If you're not familiar with Luke, he's great. He's a member of the team, but he interacts quite a bit in both PHC groups. Really, really helpful. Great writer. Very, very useful in this latest post on really everything you need to know about location targeting. We'll cover a few of the things he talked about. Conversation starter group badge. So if you haven't noticed, Facebook started rolling out these group badges, or just these badges for users or members within a Facebook group. And there's a new one called Conversation Starter that they're rolling out that I saw within PHC Elite. Looks like 3 of us are currently conversation starters. It's not real clear how they determine who gets those, but apparently I'm a conversation starter. So I'll show you that. Are you partnering with a brand? This was a weird error kind of that I got when sharing the latest blog post to Facebook. Before it allowed me to publish, it basically there was it scanned the text in my post and thought that, oh, this is actually an arrangement between me and a business partner, or a partner in where money's exchanged. So I'll walk you through what I saw there. Video Creation Kit we talked about last week. It's a feature that I don't have yet. Luckily, we have members within the group who do have it. And we got some really nice screen grabs there to kind of show you a little bit more what this is all about. Targeting options disappearing. Kathy, who also shared the Video Creation Kit screens, shared what she's seeing here regarding, yes, we know some targeting is disappearing. How does that impact the current advertising that we have going out there where they might be utilizing some of that targeting? Ad Archive API, Facebook announced this. It's not real clear if this API is going to impact, basically be an archive for all ads or just related to politics and types of issues, but we'll walk through that. Also leads more into page transparency and a message that I think everybody was getting during the past week. No engagement carousels. I think Andrew Foxwell may have an update on this one as well, but this is something that we had a couple messages within PHC about where people were struggling they couldn't create a carousel. And I think, while only one of the people indicated it was due to the engagement objective, my bet is that both people were trying to use that objective. And once again, I love it when we get kind of confirming reports from people. There was a note from a PHC member back in earlier August regarding a learning algorithm stopping and completing before hitting 50 conversions, and we seem to be seeing more of this, which could be a good thing. Ratings are now recommendations. I believe this is related to some of the page page updates that came out over the last few weeks. Tags showing pages liked by people who are commenting on your post seems really odd, and some are even questioning whether this would be a violation of GDPR and some of these privacy issues. My guess is this is all information that you can find if you click on their profile, but it's still kind of curious. Facebook Watch is now worldwide. So if you get involved in video for your brand or your clients, and you've been slow to create a Facebook Watch channel, now might be the time to do it, since it's going to roll out worldwide. We'll get that Q&A at the end. All right, so first up, the latest blog post put out by Luke, Facebook location targeting. This is a very, very thorough guide in and out regarding Facebook location targeting and what it is, how to use it, how to target, how to exclude, what the meaning is of all the people. You have 4 different drop-down options on whether it's people who live there, people who are recently there, traveling there, et cetera, et cetera. So we get lots of questions on location targeting. A lot of it where people just assume it's really simple and easy, and they don't even realize some of the stuff that's involved. So I'll cover some of the stuff that he talked about in that post, but make sure you check it out. It's the latest blog post. First of all, there are 3 basic ways of adding a location. One is simply by typing it in. One is by doing the dropping of a pin, which I don't know how many people do that. Also, another one, third, would be uploading a list of all the locations that you want to target or exclude, and which can be really useful for anybody who deals with this often. You can also save these, by the way. They also wanted to exclude, which, again, a lot of people don't even realize that you can do this. So instead of just targeting a certain location, you can exclude, which an example could be you want to target everybody in the state of California, but you want to exclude everybody in the San Diego area for whatever reason. Could be lots of reasons why you want to do that. And then I think where there's most confusion, Luke covered the definitions of these 4 location targeting options. Now, by default, there seems to be some confusion regarding what the default is, because Facebook says the default is everyone in this location. Luke says for him, the default is people who live in this location. I can tell you for me, it's everyone in this location. So everyone in this location would be pretty all-encompassing. It's people whose current city on their Facebook profile is that location. It's also anyone who Facebook determines is actually in that location via their mobile device. So it's everyone in that location. A lot of times you're not thinking about this, and you might be a local business that is a service business that whatever you do is only going to be relevant to people who live there locally. Well, guess what? You may actually want people who live in this location instead. And so Facebook sorts that out as those whose current city from their Facebook profile is that location, also validated by IP address, and their Facebook friends' stated locations, which to me seems somewhat odd why that would matter. And then recently in this location, people whose most recent location is a selected area. So I guess not currently, but recently. I'm not sure how to determine that, and the difference between, and that's via their mobile device, and also traveling in this location. So I guess the difference is people recently in this location will also include people who live in that location, where people traveling in this location should not, I believe. So people whose most recent location is a selected area as determined by the mobile device and are greater than 100 miles from their stated home location in their Facebook profile. So what was really cool is Luke then took it nerdier, which I always appreciate, and to try to help sort out Facebook's definitions and whether they're correct or whatnot, he created saved audiences for people recently in California, people who live in California as examples, and then he found audience overlap. So people who live in California Some of these people should also be those who were recently in California, not those traveling, right? So the result is, this is the kind of overlap he found. He found a 78% overlap, whereas 12 million people who were recently in California, whereas 29 million people live in California. So that doesn't really sound consistent with Facebook's definition of recently in, and that's kind of what Luke was saying as well. Now, only thing I can think of is the reason for that would be, and maybe I think Luke may have alluded to this as well. People who live in California isn't based on their mobile device activity and their and whatnot, whereas recently in California is. So if that's the case, that's why that number is actually smaller. But he also did the people traveling in California versus people recently in California. You'll see there's that 81% overlap in that case. So anyway, it's really kind of cool, some of the experiments you can do regarding overlap with this location targeting. So he went on to define like how you might use each of these, because I think a lot of people are confused like when you use each one. So everyone in this location, I mean, there are lots of times you could use it, but you could target people who live in that area, or they're just traveling through, so it doesn't matter to you. So things like coffee shops, restaurants, things like that, even online sales. People live in a location. That's when, first of all, you got a service company, like residential service company, just going to apply to those people who live there. Or it could be politics, for example. I think living in an area is also important for a lot of us in the online world, where it's like you find the best results from people who are from certain countries. So I don't care so much if you're traveling in a certain area. I care more that you are from a certain area, you live in a certain area. And then recently Luke kind of struggled with some ideas there, but and he kind of talks a little bit, I think, about local visitor bureaus and things like that. But basically, someone who is here recently, where that would be important to you, bringing them back in some way. People traveling in a location, obviously, that'd be good for anyone who's in tourism. So it's really good stuff. But yeah, I skipped a lot there. Make sure you check it out. Really, really good post there by Luke. So this is a little notification I received at the top of the PHC Elite recently. Conversation Starter Group Badge. So new Conversation Starter Badge. This badge recognizes people who consistently start meaningful discussions with their posts. How Facebook is defining this, I don't know. And actually, I should have provided an example of what that badge looks like. I think it is a little coffee cup like that, but it'll go by your name when such a person creates a post. So to get access to your badges and to make sure that they're active, go under More and click on Edit Group Settings. This is, of course, a group that you are an admin of. And you click on Manage Badges, where you can enable members to earn badges to encourage participation. So you can get badges for an admin, for moderators, for group anniversary, like if, for anyone who's been in the group for a certain amount of time. Conversation starters. So there it is. Yeah, that'll show up by their name for people who create engaging posts and comments. And again, it shows for a month once they've done that. And then new members, so that you know that someone's a new member, you may want to welcome them into the group. That'll show up by their name for 2 weeks. So that's the way that works. And yeah, for whatever reason, there's only 3 conversation starters right now. Maybe just because it's a new thing, and it may have started from scratch once it was developed. And I'm one of them. And there are a whole bunch of people who created posts too. So I don't know why it's just us 3. But congrats to Jesse and Ben for being a conversation starter. Yeah, I got this weird message when I was trying to create today's Facebook posts, sharing Luke's latest blog post. And it says, are you partnering with a business or brand for this post? We noticed that your post is about an ad. It's about Facebook ads. If you're partnering with a third-party brand, product, or business in your post for an exchange of value, you need to tag your business partner's page below. So I think they must have picked up on one of a couple things. Either just the fact that I mentioned Facebook ads or just ads, or that I mentioned just the language mentioning that this was written by Luke. But it was interesting. I was a little nervous at first that it wasn't going to allow me to publish, but yeah, you do have the ability to skip. I unchecked that allow business partner to boost this post. Just hit skip and everything was good. So if you run into this and you're not doing any type of branded content, know that you can get around it. It's no big deal. Video creation kit. So we talked about this last week, and it's actually a couple weeks in a row because the first week that I saw blog posts about this from Facebook, it didn't really appear to be an actual tool that existed, and because it really didn't call it out specifically like how to use this tool. It seemed almost more like a process or a system, that they recommend. And then once you know it, the next week they announced the launch of Video Creation Kit. And so essentially what this is, and I still don't have this, by the way, from everything I could tell. I mean, I don't see it anywhere. It's within Ads Manager when you're creating an ad. This appears to be after you've saved a draft for Kathy here. But I can't see it whether it's after saving a draft or going through it for the first time. Basically, you get this button for use templates. So if you click over to video or slideshow, you get use templates. And so you can turn your images and text into customized videos. So that's the whole thought process here, is that if video is intimidating to you, that Facebook can help you create is essentially kind of a nicer slideshow, really what it comes down to. I mean, Kathy says, I think it was Kathy that said it. I mean, it's essentially like a slideshow. But so anyway, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this button for use templates. And then when you click on that, you're going to see, I think it's just these three different options. Promote a product. So focus on one product to generate interest in sales. And they even tell you need 2 to 5 images for that. Total video duration is going to be 6 seconds. Or drive product discovery. Sell multiple products. So in each case, it kind of gives you a lowdown of what to expect there. And so this is what that process looks like. Essentially, you have 6 scenes. I assume you have to do the number of scenes. Go 6 scenes, but maybe not. And you have the option of either uploading a single image for each scene, or doing a color background. So choosing, and I didn't see how this process if you select color, but I believe you click on that, you select the color and you put in text that you want to appear there as part of your slideshow. Last week, I believe I showed you a video, I think I did, of what that process looks like when it's created, and at least created from your phone. Because that's the other thing is I believe you can do this from your phone, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, Kathy says there's 6 scenes for images, or you can choose a background color. Each scene requires a text overlay. Also, even I don't see anything requiring a text overlay when you do image, but I assume definitely if you do color, at least for the template that she chose. So again, there are 3 different templates. And John Taylor clarifies that you can actually remove a scene. I don't know if you can go beyond the 6. Kathy also clarifies you get the option for the video creation kit when you select a video or slideshow when you are in the ad creation panel. Again, I don't get that because I that's one of the things I click through. And she says it doesn't have to be a draft or already saved. So anyone who's looking for this, though, that's where it will be. Click on that video slideshow option. All right. Well, thanks, Kathy, for sharing that. And continuing the very helpful feedback from Kathy. So just to give you all a little encouragement to share what you see. This can turn into content for our weekly webinars, and it's really useful to kind of see what everybody else is finding. Because a lot of times I don't have this stuff, and if you do, it helps everybody involved. So Kathy says, targeting options disappearing. For the past few months, I've had targeting options with a yellow flag warning that they would soon be disappearing. Now those same options have a red flag now, indicating they're unavailable if I want to make any changes. She provided a screenshot to show it. She said, fairly certain that these are the Axiom options, that are all going away. Since the direction has been the targeting will be frozen for ad sets that are created before August 15th and then unavailable on October 1st or sometime in October. From then on, there will be a new pricing structure agreement situation for us to use the Axiom options. If you want to continue to use that targeting, you have to go directly through Axiom. There are approximately 5,000 Axiom segments available, and that is what Facebook is likely referring to when they say they've dropped 5,000 options. And really, like she says, she's just transferring the risk for the advertiser to Axiom. To be honest with you, I don't get it. I feel like Facebook's still allowing it. So if that's something that the judges or the courts or whoever doesn't want Facebook to do, just having Axiom do it and allowing them to do it, giving them the API to do it, I don't think changes anything personally. I'm no lawyer, though, or judge. So this is an example of what that looks like. She gets that little red tag on there. Update your detailed targeting to publish this ad set. Your audience contains interests, behaviors, or demographics that will no longer be available on our platform. You'll need to remove the flagged items from your audience before you can publish any changes. It says to remove those 5 items. And here's an example again from Kathy with all the stuff that is no longer available. So a lot of it's income-based, but strangely, things like fit moms. Weird. That leads us to Ad Archive API. So Facebook just announced this about a week ago now. And so Facebook says making advertising more transparent, help prevent abuse on Facebook, especially during elections. So keep in mind that's the focus here with the Ad Archive API. Today we're starting to roll out the Ad Archive API so researchers and journalists in particular can more easily analyze Facebook ads related to politics or issues of national importance, whatever that means. So beginning with a group of publishers, academics, and researchers in the U.S., we'll learn what's most useful and how to improve the API before opening it up more broadly. So my assumption, and you said the input from the group will also be the basis for of an archive report that's going to be available starting in September. My assumption is even if this archive API is only available, the information within it is only related to politics, for example, that won't continue to be the case. That once they launch it broadly, you get access to what any advertiser is doing, which is kind of crazy. But here's what's even crazier. Because even though we know that you can get access to a lot of this stuff when you go to someone's page, like what ads they're running, there might be additional details here. Ad offers ad creative, start and end dates, and performance data, whatever that means, including total spend, which is not available right now. From someone's page, I don't believe, and impressions, which I don't think is available either for the ads. It also shows demographics of people reached, which is available, including age, gender, and location. And if you want to get access to the API, you can split. There's a form they link to as well. So, wow. And somewhat related to that, David shared this, but I think everybody saw it. I saw this message as well. So notice for people who manage Facebook pages, it got in his email, but I think I saw it on Facebook. As part of Facebook's continued effort to increase the transparency of pages, people visiting pages will start seeing additional information, including page mergers. And it says merges, but I think it's page mergers that happen on or after September 6, 2018. So if you're going to merge, I guess do it now. And the primary country locations where pages are managed. So, and these are all things that we've talked about in the past weeks. We'll show primary country locations of people in all existing page roles. This may include agencies, advertisers, social media marketers, or anyone your page may work with, regardless of the person's level of activity on the page. Which is kind of interesting. I don't know how much that matters, but it's good to practice. It's good practice to keep your page management up to date. You can see all the pages you manage and remove yourself from any pages you no longer actively manage. So just a heads up there, that's going to be going into effect. So Peter shared this, and this was, I think, closely related to something that someone at PHC said a week ago, if not a little bit more than that, regarding not being able to create a carousel when using the engagement objective. So saw us today, engagement objective no longer supports carousel. So got this error, fix one error in ad, post engagement carousel is deprecated. The carousel ad format is no longer supported for the post engagement objective. To use this format, please select a different objective. See here, Andrew, where did that comment go? I hate this. Facebook Live does this. So this is an update on engagement carousel proofing. Said Andrew says a friend internal at Facebook is looking into why they actually did that. So if you're having issues with this and you want to use carousels and you're used to using the engagement objective, just know you're going to have to switch it up and use a different objective, at least for now. It does seem to be intentional, though. So Philip mentioned this, and once again, this is kind of confirmation of something that a member said about 3 weeks prior. He said, seriously, not complaining, just wondering if anyone else has seen recently that the learning algorithm, so when you're in the learning phase, has been kicking in at less than 50 conversions. So if you're not familiar, Facebook has this whole learning algorithm where they try to learn more about who the people are who are converting to better properly optimize, and supposedly it'll better optimize once you get to that 50 conversions. So I've had a couple of assets where it completed in about 36 conversions. These were in campaigns that were very similar to previous campaigns in terms of targeting and geo. Not sure if the algo is now able to look across your whole account, which would be great, and use past campaigns to optimize, which I've never understood why it's 50 per ad set. That makes no sense to me. Facebook has so many conversions, so much conversion data to go off of. Why is this even necessary? I don't know. I'm not getting into that. But this from August 7th, so 20 days prior, Lee was seeing the same thing. Said, I launched an ad set with enough budget to achieve 50 conversions in 7 days. After about 5 days and 35 conversions, it said learning phase complete, but also said this ad set generated fewer than the recommended number of purchases. So it appears that you're not just going to be out of luck if you're not getting those 50 conversions, that Facebook may even get fewer than that and decide we're done with this learning phase prior to reaching that 50 conversions in 7 days. So curious to hear what everybody else is seeing and hearing on that one. Ratings, now recommendations. I believe this is related to some of the design changes that have been made to the Facebook page. John Taylor shared some screen grabs on this one as well. I don't believe I've seen this, But says ratings are now recommendations. We've retired the star rating system. So now when your customers want to write a review, they can choose to recommend or not recommend your page. So how exactly that works? I mean, I believe I still see stars on mine, if I'm not mistaken. I just saw that today, actually. I have to go back and look. But one of the things I remember seeing from the announcement is that Facebook's going to require at least 25 characters in the review, or I guess recommendation, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I still got ratings all over my page with the number of stars. So this is something that apparently is rolling out for some people. It says, when customers publicly recommend you in a group or to their friends, it will appear on your page for all to see. So I think it's just going to be a matter of clicking on a button that says I recommend this business. But if someone has seen that in action, I'd like to see an example of it. And then easily report unfair recommendations, which I think businesses are going to appreciate. So like give feedback in the post menu to report content that you believe is unfair or spam. A lot of times we've heard complaints from people that just it's spam, it's not helpful, people are just out to get you, whatever. They're allowing you to report that. And then we've made it simple for customers to share important details through tags and photos. So that's the lowdown there. I think we had a couple of comments. Let me see here. So John Taylor says, they are both there now. So the previous reviews are denoted with stars, and new recommendations have the recommendation icon. So that's how they're doing that. They're not just scrapping the old star system entirely. So Brad McCormick shared this. I just noticed this new tag appearing in a page post showing what else commenters like. And it's only certain people. I know Facebook's trying to be more transparent on the ad side, but user side seems strange to reveal their page likes. And I don't believe I've seen any of this. So if you look through some of these comments in here, it says specifically some of the things that they like. And they like Strictly Vinyl, Charlie Sheen, and like Discogs. So like things that aren't even necessarily. So it seems kind of odd. I don't know if these are pages that are related to the current page or not. In some cases, what we see here could be, but Charlie Sheen, no, probably not. So if anyone else has seen any of this stuff, let me know. I mean, yeah, some of the Flaming Lips, some of this vinyl. Looks like this is a vinyl-related page. Just the Charlie Sheen thing would seem to be completely unrelated. So last thing, Facebook Watch is now going global. It's now worldwide. So anyone who's maybe been not had access to that feature due to where you are in the world, it's coming to you. Or if you're a brand who's been slow to create a watch channel and you wanted to because you knew it wasn't available to everybody, it's being rolled out to everyone now. So Facebook gives you a complete rundown on that feature in case you're not familiar with it. It's where you can discover new videos, catch up with creators and publishers you love. It's a home for your saved videos, and they oftentimes provide additional features within Facebook Watch as well to interact with them in different ways, like watch parties and things like that. So that's that. All right, so it's Ask Me Anything time. Let me go through. I was already referring to a bunch of the comments as they were rolling in. Let me see if there's anything new. Kathy asked, with the ad archive, you get access to all ads? Kind of as I was saying, I think at the moment, you'll get access to all. I don't know if they're current ads or not, to be honest with you. But related, it appears to be related to politics. So any political ads. But that's a good question. It's an ad archive API. So unlike what you see in the info page for Facebook page, where you only see what's currently running, or you can get access to all of the ads that they've run. It's kind of nuts. So as always, not a lot of info there, Kathy, unfortunately. John Taylor says, so regarding the 5,000 targeting options are going away. So one thing I can say is that the targeting groups from Acxiom will be custom audiences. That is not something I heard before. Seems kind of weird. I guess now I think about it, that might be the way Acxiom normally does things. Yeah, and I think I covered everything else here from the comments. Kathy confirmed that her location default is everyone in this location, just like me. All right, that's all we got. Thanks for your patience at the end there, as we had a little bit of a blip, but no, we're okay. We'll get this replay out to you here momentarily. Otherwise, until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.